attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya, he walked into the Resistance headquarters while he was supposed to be working. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, whenever he walked in, it put quite a lot of people on their toes. And it's kind of awkward. Midoriya has almost murdered everyone in this room, not even at a minimum, probably like the lowest number if you weren't counting, almost 70 times in his entire 5 to 6 year career. Yeah, this is pretty awkward. Especially with the fact that he also roughly killed a few of the older members. There were other members, like roughly Best Genius, the Dragon Quirk Hero, Maruku, yeah, the list goes on. Basically any pro hero you guys could probably think of that I have not listed or yet to list, Midoriya is murdered. Anyways, just throwing in that have not listed parts, just in case it does confuse anyone. Now, Midoriya then talked with Nejire and showed her a brand new world. He showed her memories of a world without the corporation in charge. And she saw the way it was. She knew a bit more information than Midoriya. In fact, that's what makes her special. Her and the other two members of the Big Three, they're usually given a bit more info. They try and keep some information out of Midoriya's hands, in case an incident like this ever occurred. And, yeah, their safeguards are very well thought out, since they thought Midoriya would go rogue. And what is he doing? Going rogue. Now, Midoriya, he was able to convince her, pulling his hand away from hers, and her somewhat trying to reach her hand out to grab his once again, trying to see this world, a place where she's actually happy. She doesn't have to pretend to like what she does. Eventually, her hide and her skin grew thick enough, and she just became bored. She pushed all of her emotions aside and put work first. Work and her respect for the organization. It's all they've ever had. Quite a lot of members, it's really all they got. So it's quite a bit of a surprise. Whenever Midoriya walks out with Nejire and she does not wear her cuffs. Midoriya is informing them that he's pretty sure they have an ally. And, yeah. The Resistance, they're a bit more surprised about that. It's just that simple. And Endeavor does actually walk forwards, along with Overhaul, trying to sit down and talk with this young boy. If they are going to go after the organization, they need to have an actual plan. They don't know that he is rogue, nor Nejire, nor your other co-workers, right? The ones that you are always spotted with. Yeah, I can see where you're going with this. Ah, alrighty. Well, I also somewhat think, and ever turning to look at his son, saying, Shoto, he must do one little task. Todoroki just standing up and saying that if this is about the plan, then they can try. They can make it happen. Quite a lot of people in the room, yeah, they don't like what they're hearing. As Endeavor just states, that this is what you will say will happen in your report. You encountered 2 resistance members. Endeavor beginning to explain. Before, roughly about a couple hours later, you do have Midoriya, who he has Endeavor chained up and basically strung up in strings, beaten, bloody, and pretty well injured. Midoriya basically just carrying him before throwing him directly into the lobby. Endeavor smashing and rolling into the ground, before hitting a wall and trying to get back up to his feet. That being whenever a large blast of ice directly smashes into him, pinning his body to the wall. And security do come out to see this. Now, security is very surprised, along with Mirio and Tamaki, after they rounded the corner and see exactly the scene. Now, the scene Mirio, Tamaki, and security guards are looking at is as followed. Midoriya had time throughout these couple hours to talk with everyone and get this all planned out. And Endeavor, yeah, he knows this is going to be a very, very bad idea. However, it is going to be well executed. Midoriya's entire plan is to simply get Endeavor captured. Or at least that's what Todoroki's entire plan is. Midoriya is only the basic point for it. Now, Endeavor's entire idea, if Shoto brings him in, has Midoriya at his side, then Midoriya takes his fire quirk. That will leave him with enough time. And it will give Todoroki a bit of an edge. He can do that and then give up at least a few of their safe houses. And people can be captured. Now, Bakugo and everyone else in the room is calling this plan stupid and insane. To which Endeavor just says, that is the exact point. They wouldn't expect this to happen directly. In fact, what we're going to be doing is quite simple. Midoriya, he is going to act like he takes away our quirks whenever they tell him to. That is what they use the kid for, right? Yeah, it is. Then again, I don't even know what kind of quirks I have in here. Hell, I'd be interested to just see all of them. My point exactly. You're going to, well, hand off an ability. You're going to put a quirk into my body. Okay, and what type of quirk should that be? Well, you see, that is my predicament. I would ask you to take my fire and give me a very explosive quirk. However, I'm not too sure if it would work. Wait, I think I know the exact type of quirk to give you. Now, let us cut back to the present. Midoriya stands there with his hands outstretched, ready with wires to wrap them around Endeavor. As soon as Endeavor does go to rush forwards, he gets blasted with a large wave of ice, which quickly smashes him back into the wall, But for Midoriya, whenever he does throw his hands out with these wires, they wrap around Endeavor's throat and begin to pull him upwards. As you do have Momo and Toru simply just standing there, as they have Nejire. She looks exhausted and tired, both of them thinking that she probably hasn't eaten in a long time. It has been a little over 2 days, right? Almost 2 exactly. And they do go to get her some food and take her, as you have the CEO, who does see what is going on. Endeavor basically floating 15 to 20 feet off the ground with a wire noose around his neck and desperately trying to grab it, while you also do have a known resistance member and the man's actual son standing next to Midoriya. And the CEO does try to get an explanation. Midoriya just saying that he found the resistance, and surprise, surprise, they found him. My friend here, Midoriya bringing his hand up to try and at least tap onto Todoroki's arm. Todoroki just telling him to stop that. He only gave it up because he knew this would be a better option. The resistance is a losing battle. Besides, I know where I stand. I'm just not going to be on the losing side. My brother said I would have a spot here, is that right? Oh, did he know? Well, I believe we can sit him down and talk with him, and see exactly what he said. Yeah, that'd be preferable. Now, Endeavor does try and light his fire. As soon as that happens, Midoriya does spin around and lunge towards Endeavor. As soon as he lunges towards him, he jumps upwards, being able to push Endeavor straight through the wall. Both of these two going through, as Midoriya, he simply does one thing. He forces his hand onto Endeavor's head, and Endeavor begins to burn brighter and scream, as Midoriya puts a quirk into his body. Now, along with that, Midoriya does actually slip something else in. He creates it, and Endeavor, yeah, it's gonna go unnoticed to him too. He knows that if he brought this up to Endeavor, he might not like the idea, since it's a bit too metal for him to even stomach. Midoriya makes what can be best described as, well, a seed. One simple, tiny little thing. And Midoriya slips it underneath the skin of Endeavor's right arm, into his forearm. Endeavor wouldn't even notice. And he didn't. Endeavor burning bright before simply falling backwards and his head going limp. And the fire, it's all gone out. Now, the man who watched this, he saw Midoriya. Midoriya just breathing heavily and looking down at his arms, before shaking them off, as the skin and bone begins to regenerate, along with a lot of the flesh. Now, Midoriya turns around, and the CEO simply just says, "Good work." And looking at Todoroki, he tells him to come with him. Now, Midoriya, he just says that he can vouch for Todoroki. He also did give him 3 locations, and if they can act now before the resistance knows that Endeavor's in custody, they can actually catch a few people by surprise. The man, yeah, he doesn't believe that. However, you do have Mirio and Tamaki, who, they came back. They got Nedre properly set up with someone to help her, a doctor. And they shout that they're going. Mirio simply just ripping Todoroki by the back of his shirt collar, basically almost tearing his shirt and pulling him with him, grabbing him and then smashing him into the ground, telling him that he is taking him to those locations. And he is killing someone today. Midoriya simply just saying, if they can capture them all by surprise, then hey, I'm not going to say no, but let's consider this for a second. These are high-value targets and high-value members of the Resistance. If we can take them in, we could cripple them. I hate to say it, Tamaki just saying, but Midoriya is right. Besides, we can go out and hunt down more of them later. Plus, we can kill the ones who don't cooperate. Whatever. Anyways, let's go, you fucking half-and-half bastard. Now, they all leave. Midoriya, he gets them to the locations. And whenever they do arrive, yeah, Todoroki simply walked in and caused a commotion. A lot of people hearing gunshots and rifles go off, along with very, very loud sounds of ice hitting a wall. Before Midoriya and Mirio do come phasing through the wall. As soon as Midoriya came in, he threw out his hands and began to use a shadow quirk. Shackles and multiple other things coming out from the shadows. People describing creatures and, well, monsters. Since Midoriya basically created these things out of odd shapes, of people, and even his own personal constructs. Some of them being able to actually just throw their ways out of the shadows and latch onto people, before being able to simply pull them towards the walls. Some shit straight out of a horror movie, along with people being pulled down, and basically held down by these screaming abominations. Mirio actually somewhat laughing, as he's punching and beating a man across the face. Now, while he's doing that, Todoroki does actually kick Mirio off of the man, to which he's pretty pissed off. Mirio just saying for him never to do that again. Did you forget the entire point of this? You're not supposed to kill them. At least not yet. Fuck. Besides, you can at least torture them later or something, right? Get information? Hell. He can probably give you a brainwashing quirk and you can fuck with them. Actually, that is a very good idea. You know, I didn't like you at first, but I think we might just get along. Whatever. As they leave and head to the next location. This being a pattern. These three go in and come out. No casualties. Mario's worst pastime. Pretending not to want to kill something. Now, with that being said, they do get these people into custody. And they go through the entire process. Midoriya, quote-unquote, taking away their quirks. However, what he's actually doing is simply giving them a random addition to their own quirk. Either enhanced strength, enhanced speed, stamina, whatever, and a message in their head. He's on their side, do not do anything until Endeavor gives a signal. These people, yeah, they were hardly informed. All they were told is to wait for an ambush, and make it look convincing. Some of them nearly piss themselves at the Angel of Death, and the man who can quite literally rip your skull off of your own body. Seamlessly, In fact, Mirio has once ripped out multiple people's hearts, without even causing wounds. That was quite terrifying for a lot of people to see, especially since he once did it live on camera. And the organization did have to try and at least cover it up, saying that the man that Mirio killed deserved it, since he was responsible for quite a lot of crimes around the city. Anyways, now, with that being said, everyone is put into different places. Dobby does begin to talk with and show his brother around, while Endeavor and quite a lot of people from the Resistance, who still have their quirks and even improved versions, are headed off to a maximum security prison. Nejire, she's seeing a doctor and recovering, and Midoriya, yeah. Now he has to get a few other people on his side. Midoriya quickly going for Intelli. He makes a game plan. Heads for Intelli, Ibarra, Kendo, and then that other girl, Toga. Him quickly doing this in less than an hour. After talking with Intelli and getting her on his side, things begin to make a lot more sense. And she actually does remember a bit more of the reality. Remembering those weird feelings that bubble to the surface. She tried to keep them hidden, but yeah. They make a lot more sense that they've come into this timeline a bit too. In fact, it is where her weird respect for Midoriya comes from. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.